All right, this is Dr. Baker, and the notes that I will share today reviews Module 4A for MAT0022, and Module 4A deals with adding and subtracting integers. We'll start with number 1, which asks us to simplify the absolute value of -5. So when you see a number inside of two vertical lines, like -5, you're being asked to find the absolute value of that digit. Now, what is the absolute value? The absolute value is the distance from 0 on the number line. So you're being asked, how far away is -5 from 0 on the number line? So let's say we had a number line and we placed 0 in the middle. -5 would be over here to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5 would be here to the left. And that distance, how far away is -5 from 0? It's simply 5 units. The answer would be 5. For example 3, you're adding -10 plus -7. Now, we remember from before, positive times a negative, or perhaps I'm going to remind you here, a positive times a negative, you get negative. So whenever you see a positive and a negative symbol side by side, that becomes minus. Now this -10 will remain the same. And remember, the positive times negative became negative. The 7 will carry. So we're looking at -10 minus 7. When you're adding and subtracting these integers, you want to think about money that you place in the bank and money that you take out of the bank. If it's a minus, that means you're taking the money out, or perhaps you're in the negative. If it's a positive, then you're depositing the money or placing the money inside of your bank account. So if I have -10 in my bank account, I'm already in the hole. And then I take out $7. What will my balance be? It's going to be -17. And that's your answer. Look at number 7. We have -15 plus -15. Again, the positive times negative makes this to -15. And remember, we have a negative in front, so that's -15. Let me write it over here where I have a little bit more space. So -15 minus 15. Again, we have -15 in our bank account and we take out $15 more. What would the balance be? It will be -30. And this is our answer, -30. All right, let's look at number 12. We're subtracting. We have -11. Now you see minus times minus. A negative times negative is positive. So that becomes -11 plus 11. So whenever you see a negative side by side with another negative symbol, that changes to positive. All right, so whenever you see a -11, we have minus -11. Two negative symbols side by side, we change that to addition. So that's plus 11. And -11, so if I have -$11 in my bank and I go deposit $11, what will your balance be? It's just going to be 0. All right, let's look at number 19. We have -16. And then positive times negative, remember that becomes minus. So that's -8. And then -17. So we have -$16 in the bank account, and we go to take out $8 more. -16 minus 8, that gives us -24 minus the 17. All right, so we'll keep going. We've combined the first two digits. Now we're going to subtract 17 from that result. We have -24 and -24 minus the 17. Remember, that's two negatives again, so you want to imagine you have -$24 in your bank and you go take out $17 more. That will become negative 41. All right, number 19. Now let's look at number 20. For problem 20, we're going to translate this phrase and then simplify. Subtract 22 from negative 18. So we have negative 18 already, and then we want to take away 22 from that digit. So we have negative 18, and we're subtracting 22 from negative 18. So let's look at what we have. Negative $18 in our bank account, and we go take out 22 more dollars. So we're withdrawing 22 more dollars. The negative 18 minus 22, what will our balance be? Negative 40. All right, let's look at number 26. Now for 26, you're subtracting, we have 3 minus negative 2. Whenever you see a negative times negative side by side, that becomes addition. So this problem becomes 3 plus 2 or 5. And that's our answer. Now let's look at number 28. For 28, you have negative 2.6. We have negative 2.6. Now a positive times a negative, remember that becomes minus. So that will be minus 4.86. We essentially have two negatives. So we started with negative 2.6. We go take out negative 4, or we go take out 4.86. So we're really just adding these two numbers together. It stays negative, but we're going to add them together to figure out what that increase would be. 2.6, line up your decimal points and fill in the empty spaces with zeros. So we just add the columns going down. 6 plus 0, 8 plus 6, we'll get 14. We got to carry the 1. And 4 plus 1 will give us 5 plus 2. That'll give us 7. And remember, it's negative, since we're combining two negative numbers together. This is our answer, negative 7.46. Now let's look at number 32. You have two fractions, negative 5/16, and then positive times negative. Positive times negative becomes negative 3/16. We keep our denominator of 16 and look at our numerator. We have negative 5, and we go take out 3 more dollars. That leaves us with negative 8. Now negative 8 over 16 can be simplified. We can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 8 to reduce this fraction. So negative 8 divided by 8, that gives us negative 1. And 16 divided by 8, that gives us 2. So negative 1/2 would be our result in simplified form. All right, let's look at number 35. For 35, we have 3 digits. We have negative 2/7 plus 1/3 minus 11/14. Now we have these 3 digits and neither of them have the same denominator. So we have to find the least common denominator, the LCM, least common multiple between all 3 of these denominators. So we need to find the LCM, the least common multiple, between 7, our denominator, 7, 3, and 14. Now that just means we'd have to find multiples of each digit and then find the smallest one that each of these have in common. So 7 times 1, 7 times 2, we'll write out multiples of each digit. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 14 times 1, 14 times 2. We keep going, and the smallest multiple that we have in common for all 3 of these digits is going to be 42. So we need to rewrite each of the fractions with denominator of 42. Now what do we multiply 7 by to get 42, we have to multiply by 6. Therefore, you have to multiply our numerator by 6. So negative 2 times 6 gives us negative 12 for the first fraction. Now for the second fraction, we have 1/3 in the denominator. What do we multiply 3 by to get 42? We multiply by 14. So we must also multiply the numerator by 14. And 1 times 14, that becomes 14. What do we multiply 14 by, the third fraction? In the denominator, what do we multiply 14 by to get 42? We have to multiply by 3. Therefore, we must multiply the numerator, 11 by 3. And 11 times 3 gives us 33. So now all our fractions have the same denominator. Let me just rewrite them here so we can see what we're working with. We have negative 12 40 seconds plus 14 40 seconds minus 33 over 42. So we'll keep the denominator of 42. And in our numerator, we'll combine. Let's start with the first two digits. Negative $12 in the bank, and then we deposit 14. What will our balance be? It'll be 2. Now, 2 minus the 33. If we have only $2 in our bank account and we take out $33, what will our balance be? It'll be negative 31. So this is our answer, negative 31 divided by 42. And that concludes Module 4A.